Once team members visit Green Island and New Taipei City's Ruifang to bring medical services to those in need. One senior volunteer spends her days reading to the visually impaired at the Qiming Library in Taipei. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In Taiwan, Eastern District team members recently traveled to Green Island to conduct a 2-day free clinic. 60 medical staff and volunteers provided surgery, ophthalmology, dentistry, traditional Chinese medicine, and general medical services to 193 residents. Meanwhile, the Northern District team carried out a free clinic and home visitations in New Taipei City's Ruifang District. Here's more.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital medical staff are once again at Chen Yishong's home. Suffering severe ulceration from a leg injury, Chen's leg was spared amputation thanks to the assistance of medical personnel. As Chen's wound is slowly healing, medical staff show Chen how to properly dress his wound. For Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital Secretary Qiao Lihua, each visit to Ruifang is also a visit to her hometown. Qiao helps to explain the patient's condition to the medical staff.
Asphalt splashed all over him. Both his arms and hands are severely deformed. He can't even button his clothes.
Under the care of volunteers, Wang Jianchen finally comes to terms with his injury. Almost 90, this grandma pours out her sorrows regarding her deceased grandson to the volunteers.
Ruifang was originally a mining town, but since mining activity stopped here, many young people left to make a living elsewhere.
Traveling 43 kilometers from Xingdian to Ruifang, Northern District team of volunteers are determined to bring their love to remote areas as they care for patients' bodies and minds. Working together to load items onto a boat are members of the Eastern District team. Departing from Hualien at 5 a.m. after a 3.5-hour drive, the team arrives in Taidong, where they then board a ship to Green Island. On arrival 5 hours later, they immediately begin their home visitations. As residents of Green Island are mainly laborers, traditional Chinese remedies of acupuncture and cupping help relieve their muscle stress and tension. However, the most popular department was ophthalmology.
It's probably because Green Island is situated more south and has a relatively warmer climate, and that can trigger an early onset of cataracts. Secondly, some patients have pterygium, and that is caused by frequent exposure to UV rays.
Yuli Tzu Chi Hospital doctor Li Senjia brought his medical students to the home visitations to give them some hands-on experience.
This gives us the opportunity to see firsthand the onset of serious illnesses. This is very helpful in our study of such illnesses. We got to see how our teacher interacted with the patients, as well as how he provided them with a diagnosis. It's convenient for outsiders to visit Green Island, but the only downside is that medical resources are lacking here. When I went to the free clinic today, whether it was the nurses or doctors, everything was great.
Taking time from their weekend to serve 193 residents on Green Island, team of doctors continue to live up to their mission of safeguarding lives.
Staying in Taiwan, in Taoyuan's Neili, we meet a group of dedicated recycling volunteers at the Changle Tzu Chi recycling station. Despite being few in numbers, volunteers have shown solidarity by working together for decades. For many of them, the station has become their second home and Tzu Chi their other family. Collaboration is the way these recycling volunteers have been doing their work for decades. Here at the Changle Tzu Chi recycling station, each volunteer finds immeasurable joy in sorting recyclables.
I have a great time here. Nothing is more joyful than sorting recyclables with other volunteers.
Everyone wants to categorize the recyclables as quickly as possible. It seems that everyone's hearts bonded together.
For decades, these volunteers work diligently to carry out the recycling task. Spending most of their time at the premise, volunteers have made this place their second home and treat one another like their own family member. Although Lin Zhongxian suffers oral cancer and will soon undergo surgery, he does not neglect his recycling duty.
If you stayed at home, the pain won't go away either. However, when you come to the recycling station, you become happier, so you will leave all your pain behind.
He will soon be hospitalized, but still wants to help. Today, he shows up as usual to transport recyclables.
Over the decades, countless recycling volunteers like Lin Zhongxian dedicate their time and efforts at the Changle recycling station, working together like one big family. The Taipei Public Library Qiming branch features reading materials especially for the visually impaired. The library also provides a reading service where the visually impaired could call a hotline to have a volunteer read them the day's newspapers. One such volunteer is 75-year-old Zhang Nianzi, a kindergarten teacher who often read storybooks to children. Now retired and wanting to spend her golden years with meaning, she spends her days reading to the blind.
一张停在枝头上的青背山雀照片。
Who is 75-year-old Zhang Nianzi reading to at the other end of the phone. Inside this small room at the Qiming Library, Zhang is reading to the visually impaired.
我觉得最可爱。
I think those who are blind live a colorless life. You can tell them about black, white, red, and blue, but they have no idea what color is or what it looks like.
这是什么样子的颜？
After the retired kindergarten teacher's husband passed away, Zhang began volunteering at the hospital.
撞到墙了就又 OK。我不希望呢。
I don't want to be a person that just wakes up to eat and close my eyes to sleep. I want to do more with my life.
一些有意义的事。
Wanting to spend her golden years with meaning, for more than 15 years now, Zhang has divided her time between volunteering at the hospital and the library.
Sometimes we receive letters from our blind patrons, thanking these volunteers for coming here to help them.
他们想知道的。
Through using my voice, I can give them information that they want to know, and that gives me a sense of accomplishment.
我很有成就感。
Despite needing glasses to see the tiny print on the newspaper, Zhang remains committed in providing the reading service.
读报室您好，要听哪一份报纸？
Zhang's voice leads the blind through the seed of information so they can stay connected to the world over.
Due to inequality in public and educational resources, youth living in indigenous communities in Taiwan are at a disadvantage right from the start compared to their urban counterparts. Eventually, many decide to leave their culture and way of life behind in pursuit of a better life in the cities. However, one retired entrepreneur has seen the potential of indigenous communities and is trying his best to restore hopes and dreams to the youth there. Here's our story. There are many hidden beauties inside our indigenous settlement that young people nowadays just can't see. When I come back, I feel grounded, as this is where I was born.
Seeing a void in her tribal culture, Ling Zhuhan found her calling.
Even as I pursued an education, I wanted to come back and help. At the time, I happened to join an indigenous troupe called Formosa Aboriginal Song and Dance. So I thought, as a performing artist, I can bring some of the troupe's elements back to our community and help lead the pawpaw drums performers.
As her peers pursue their dreams in the cities, Ling wants to prove there is still hope in indigenous settlements.
随着时代的挪移，
As time goes by, what Taiwan needs now is more creativity, and in eastern Taiwan, there are people pursuing a new way of life.
President of the Alliance Cultural Foundation, Yan Changshou, understood the value of indigenous tribes and thus began investing resources in this Amish settlement 4 years ago to help prepare the youth here.
Don't keep your head down as if you had just lost a war. Come on, where's your spirit? Please, you have all grown up already. Let's keep it together, right? When I first came, they were just a bunch of kids who simply enjoyed playing drums. They knew nothing about putting on a performance. But after I arrived, I was able to reshape them. I think these children truly have incredible potential.
The wild rhythm has unchained their innate potential. After 4 years of training, these youths are transformed.
Before, I simply enjoyed having fun. I didn't help out at home much.
From my 2 teachers, I learned the meaning of confidence and perseverance. I can now help people discover the beauty of Taidong.
I think our teachers want the whole world to discover our tribe, so people know that somewhere in Taiwan's Taidong, there exists a beautiful indigenous settlement.
Before, they were in a desolate area and no one wanted to make the trip to come see them. They had no confidence and no job opportunities. Now suddenly, people do want to make that trip. And even the famed artist Jimmy Liao is willing to display his work here, while some artists want to work together with them. I think all this has helped them develop confidence.
As tourists arrive to see them perform, finally hope fills this indigenous settlement.
I want to become an outstanding performer.
I think I will continue to stay here in the tribe. I want to continue drumming.
I think the opportunity for youth today lies in the continuation of their culture. As long as they help sustain the culture, there will be opportunities.
We didn't come right out to help them. Rather, we first took time to understand their strength and weakness, and try to highlight their strength.
Slowly, the world is seeing the uniqueness of the indigenous youth in Taiwan, who can now finally pursue their dreams on their ancestral ground.
In Malaysia, in February of this year, the Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter received ISO 9001 accreditation for its high-quality management system, thus joining the 3 Tzu Chi Dialysis Centers in the country that received the recognition in 2005. And with regular inspections, the Dialysis Centers hope to continue providing high-quality service to patients.
With concerted effort by Tzu Chi volunteers, after an evaluation in February of this year, the Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter received ISO 9001 accreditation for its high-quality management system.
它很 systematic 咯。
When we follow the guidelines given by the International Organization for Standardization, we can reduce the amount of time it takes to complete a task.
工作的时间咯。
As Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia are currently running the Million Bodhisattva campaign, the number of Tzu Chi members in the country has increased dramatically. Despite the extra workload, Tzu Chi staff still process each Tzu Chi member application form with attentiveness.
大家都是
Everyone knows it's their duty to recruit as many volunteers as they can. Everyone works hard in doing so, so we need to make sure that we key in all the information correctly.
In 2005, 03 of Tzu Chi's dialysis centers in the country were awarded ISO 9001 certification. To ensure the quality of their care, every year the centers go through an annual inspection. In March of this year, the Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Butterworth went through its first inspection to ensure the quality of their service.
What we focus on is the quality of our treatment. We want to make sure our patients stay healthy.
Through such inspections, we improve the quality and efficiency of our work because we will discover any problems.
To ensure high-quality care for patients, the Tzu Chi Penang Dialysis Center also conducts regular review of its standard operating procedure. In the years to come, the Tzu Chi Dialysis Centers in Malaysia will continue safeguarding the health of all those who walk through its doors.
Also in Malaysia, Xie Yizhu is a DaAi mother at Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten. After retiring as an English teacher, she turned into a full-time volunteer teaching English to the children of the kindergarten. Now spreading her love to more people, she has spent her days surrounded by children and enveloped in blessings.
We are going to make a gift box, okay? Do you know what a gift box is? It is a box to hold presents. Every day at 3:30 in the afternoon is when Xie Yizhu gets to spend some quality time with these kindergartners. Some say 2 kids are enough, don't have any more. However, I don't need to have more kids. I have 2 kids of my own, and here at Tzu Chi Kindergarten, I have 64 kids. I'm fulfilled spending time with the children each day. Everyone fondly refers to Xie Yizhu as Teacher Anne because she was an English teacher before retirement. Even after retirement, Xie continues to spend her days with the children and younger teachers of Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten.
She's very down to earth and very willing to communicate with us. It's that kind of spirit we of the younger generation need to learn from.
我们就 demo 给他们看先啦哈，做一个 demo 给他们。
In the past, Xie's main focus in life was her family and her children. However, since she began volunteering as a full-time English teacher at Penang Tzu Chi Kindergarten, Xie's life has been enriched beyond belief.
以前就是说小爱的时候，就是我们注重我的孩子嘛，哈，那就是拼着做我的 career 咯。
Before, I only cared about my children or my career and was wasting time away. Now in Tzu Chi, I can do good deeds and donate my time for the good of others.
做好事了，哈，把我的时间捐出来做好事这样的东西。
With good affinities formed out of love, Teacher Anne finds herself blessed each day.
Back in Taiwan, the 62nd Tzu Chi Global Entrepreneur Camp ended successfully on April 25th. Despite the short duration of their visit, many entrepreneurs were inspired to incorporate Tzu Chi's humanistic values and eco-friendly messages in their work when they returned home. Let's take a look.
Inside the kitchen, volunteers busily cooking, while their counterparts outside welcome entrepreneurs from across the globe despite the poor weather.
Although I had to work today, I was still very happy to be able to volunteer at the Tzu Chi Global Entrepreneur Camp.
For many participants, this is their first time attending a Tzu Chi event. We hope they can realize that Tzu Chi is a big family that is filled with warmth.
Today, 230 entrepreneurs from 8 different countries are here at the Tzu Chi Nehu grounds in Taipei City to attend the Tzu Chi Global Entrepreneur Camp. During the visit, entrepreneurs try their hand at sorting recyclables, while some are inspired to pass on the NGO's environmental messages to those around them.
Whether it is my co-worker or I, we need to protect the environment because it is our responsibility.
Other than learning how to sort their garbage at the Tzu Chi Nehu grounds, entrepreneurs also visit the Tzu Chi Xingtai Liaison Office, where they listen to stories from 2 Tzu Chi volunteers from Southern Africa.
Everyone knows that being a Tzu Chi volunteer, you not only need to spend a lot of time, but also effort. Although I'm the only Tzu Chi volunteer in Zimbabwe, I'm still very grateful. I'm able to carry out Tzu Chi's missions according to my schedule.
Love has brought people from various social statuses together in Mozambique, regardless of the amount of time we had.
Despite the short duration of their visit, at the end of the 3-day camp, the entrepreneurs all go home with valuable lessons.
Last year, the people of the Philippines suffered many calamities, varying from political unrest to earthquakes to typhoons. Among the devastation were the damages to schools' classrooms, which have greatly affected the children's education. As June is the time for the Philippines' children to go back to school, Taiwan's Northern District Tzu Chi volunteers gathered at the Sansha grounds to help ready the prefabricated classrooms heading to the Philippines, ensuring the children will have a safer learning environment upon their return.
Planks of wood are sliced and nailed together to form a template for cutting polypropylene boards. Nearly 100 volunteers gather at the Tzu Chi Sansha grounds to help ready the prefabricated classrooms going to the Philippines. Each year in June, students in the Philippines head back to school, but due to a recent string of disasters from political unrest to natural disasters, classrooms are damaged, thus making it difficult for classes to resume. As time is running out, Taiwan's Northern District Tzu Chi volunteers, along with Central and Southern districts, come together to join their forces.
I can cut those.
Right. Some is cut this way. So it's 500 of them, about 4 centimeters deep, and just right to the edge is fine.
With the wooden template assembled, each PP board pieces can be cut to exact size. United in their efforts, everyone is making sure things are done correctly. Volunteers hope to provide a safer learning environment to the children of the Philippines soon.
Nowadays, mobile phone has become a major part of our lives. However, experts suggest that excessive cell phone use may lead to a number of symptoms, such as impaired concentration, memory loss, and fatigue. To avoid these problems, specialists recommend users to adjust their cell phone usage habits.
In today's society, many people cannot stay away from their phones, let alone leaving the house without it.
Cell phone is a necessity to me, so I will be extremely nervous when I don't have it with me. I'm afraid that I will miss an important message.
According to experts, when information is fed to the brain, it has to go through the process of concentration before being turned into short-term memory. Once the information is consolidated, it then becomes long-term memory. However, memory degradation may occur when the process is disrupted by the urge to use the cell phone.
Once interrupted, we won't be able to transform the short-term memory to long-term memory by the process of repeating.
Statistics also shows that 68% of the people check their cell phones on an hourly basis. 17% cannot be without their phones, and 40% of people feel that their memory and concentration have been impaired.
The most common symptom of Alzheimer's disease is memory loss, confusion, disorientation with space, and difficulty with numbers. They're forgetful and have trouble concentrating.
To prevent these problems, experts suggest users to control their cell phone usage and avoid using their phones while working or studying.
At the end of the show, we head back to Malaysia and join Ningbong Tebal Tzu Chi volunteers as they head to a local school where the main language spoken is Malay to spread Tzu Chi's ideals to students and encourage them to participate in the upcoming Buddha Day ceremony on May 11th. The vice principal of the school, who is also a Tzu Chi volunteer, hopes the students' participation would inspire further compassionate acts in the future. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.